Hello, all of my Sohorts. Welcome back. I'm so happy to see you all once again. It means so much that you all keep coming back and watching my content, especially on a day like today, which is a no context day, obviously. It's one of those days I just don't have the energy to put my contacts in. I'm sure those of you who also wear contacts totally get it. I want to talk about a project that has been kind of wandering in and out of my mind for a very long time. And when I say a very long time, I mean I first started doing some research ish type stuff into this idea, whew, probably about 15 years ago. That's how long. And I just, it would wander in, and then I would see something else and be reminded, oh, I actually don't like that time period of clothing, and I kept push it off, and then someone would do something that looked fantastic, and I would look at it again, and then there would always be another reason to just not do it. So 2022 is the year of just do the thing. We are, starting up year 3 of this global panini, and one of the things that I have had to learn, and not even so much learn, because I knew this, but accept, is that I should do what makes me happy and not just sew for group stuff or things that I can get other people to do with me. That I don't need other people to do things with me to make myself an outfit and enjoy it. So that's where this giant project comes in. And that is and when I say giant, I mean giant. But what I want to do is basically a big capsule wardrobe that covers very late Elizabethan into Jacobean styles. And so basically I'm looking at like the 1590s at the absolute earliest into like the 1620s probably. And one of the things that's really great is that this is a time period where you can do a lot of mix and match stuff, which I think will also make it easier to build it into a capsule wardrobe. So I'm dubbing this, I'm going to have a multi-phase thing. Phase 1 is to just get all of the pieces to have a single outfit so that I have, the base to work from. And I'm going to start that. My goal is to get it done by the end of this summer. And then from there, I'm just going to keep adding pieces that work with it and expand it out and out and out until I have, a really large, actually not large. I mean, there'll be a fair number of pieces. I'll get into the list in a moment. But basically, I just want to have a closet of, that time period where I can, pull out stuff for various things. My initial focus is going to be working on a middling sort of outfit, so not super fancy, but something that'll just get me through, and also something that will not cause me to die in summer, because I live in an area where it's super humid all the time, and it still can get pretty darn hot. So I don't want to be wearing really heavy stuff in winter or in summer. I want to be able to feel comfortable and also have layers, because layers are the key to everything. Anyway, I've been babbling. I am going to be pulling from a whole bunch of sources for this. So let me just show you the main books that I have been looking at as I prep for this. Oh, and also tell you what's going to be my initial set of projects, as well as probably what will be in my first set of my phase 2. Which makes me sound like a Marvel movie. Anyway, obviously, the very first thing I'm going to work, from the skin out. Easiest way to do this. And there are multiple books now that luckily deep dive and get really detailed on undergarments from this time period. So Oops, I just knocked something over on my desk. I didn't mean to do that. One book that has so much info is Patterns of Fashion 4. This is the one, as you can see, with the ruffs on the cover. It's got ruffs, obviously. It's got shifts, shirts, undershirts, basically all of those linens that, you know, are staples of every single outfit. So this is going to be, I'm going to be pulling a lot of information from this. The other pair of books that I absolutely adore that also have a lot of information, not just about underwear but about outerwear too, are both both of the women's dress pattern, 17th century women's dress patterns book. This is book 1. This is book 2. And this is the book series that x-rayed the extant pieces, as you can see from the cover, which is so super cool. But both of them have a lot of fantastic information about sewing stitches, embroidery stitches, as well as, you know, the patterns for various articles of clothing. So those are also in my absolute must pile. And the other one that I have on hand is Patterns of Fashion 5, because I do at some point want to do a copy of the effigy stays, which is this one. The stays that were found on the effigy of Queen Elizabeth when it was redressed, that were initially thought to be 18th century, but further study proved that they were in fact made probably in 1602 or 1603. So they're right smack where I'm aiming for. The one main thing I will be doing, because I've heard a lot of people talk about this with their recreations, is I'm not going to make the front quite as low because, you know, I would like to be able to sit down in these stays. So, the first set of what I'm going to be doing is going to be making a shift. Probably the stays I will be doing in my first set, either the stays or a supportive kirtle. We'll see when I get a little further. So, shift, some type of supporting garment, probably 2 petticoats, and a jacket, which I love the look of the jackets. And of course a coif, probably a narrow collar with a ruff, and, you know, the sleeve cuffs and all that kind of stuff. You know, basic accessories to go with it. The patterns I plan to use are going to be Margot Anderson patterns. I bought the digital patterns, so I just printed out the covers to share with you all. This is the supportive kirtle, this one, which is pattern 23 in her line, and then the fitted jacket, which is her pattern number 24. So those are going to be in my first phase of stuff as well. And the one thing I really need to do before I can start anything is I have a whole bunch of linen. This is a 5.5 ounce linen. This is what I'm going to be using to make the shift, but before I can do that, I need to wash it. And once it's washed, that'll help me decide, because, I mean, it's a little stiff right now, but I want to see exactly what the hand is once it's washed, and then I will decide if I'm going to do one of the flat style shifts, or if I'm going to do one with a gathered collar. Either way, they're going to have full sleeves. But again, it'll basically depend on how nicely this gathers after it gets washed. So yeah, I really need to stop dragging my feet and do that and toss all that linen in the wash. But you know what? Sometimes motivation is hard to find, which I'm sure a lot of you will also relate to. Again, global panini. So that's going to be my first phase, and as I said, that is my goal is to get that done sometime this summer, to have that one base outfit fully done. And then I want to start adding some fun things, some variations on all kinds of other stuff. The one book that I don't have, so I can't show you, is my copy just decided to take a vacation. I can't find it anywhere. Would be Patterns of Fashion 3, which is all of the 16th and early 17th century clothing pieces. which I don't know where my copy went. I've been looking for it for like 6 months now. That has a couple of things that I would like to pull out, one of which is actually also in book 2 of 17th century women's dress, and that is the loose gown. Let's see if I can. So this is absolutely on my list of things to make eventually, the loose gown. But so is I just really like this loose short jacket. There's no fitting in it at all. It's just, loose and comfy, can be worn open or closed. What else? There were a few others. There's a whole bunch of stuff in this book. What's also really nice about this book is it covers a couple of the embroidered jackets and also has the embroidery pattern. This book also includes some bobbin lace patterns, which is something I dabbled in the past, and I can give it a try. One of my super long-term, very far in the future, I don't even want to say plan. It's kind of like a pipe dream, wish. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Is I just kind of really want to make one of those giant flat-topped, very late Elizabethan gowns. I just kind of really want to make one of those like that. Obviously that would be a very fancy dress. Alright, so not this style specifically because I don't want to do the super short-waisted look, but one of these with the big flat top skirt and the very vertical. That really is like a super stretch final, the closing of the project would be something like that. But that will take, a lot more research. I think there's been a lot of speculation on just how that shape has been achieved, all that kind of stuff. As I said, that is very, very far down the line, not what I'm looking to do in the very near future. But as I said, I'm going to start aiming to be sort of like a middling to lower upper class type of thing, not super fancy. I'm going to do a mix of linen, silk, wool, comfortable fabric really. Again, it gets hot here, but also like I'm kind of picturing doing like a fancy silk bodice to go with a silk petticoat that can either be worn with the matched bodice or with a jacket. A doublet top with a matching or a coordinating skirt. That, as I said, stuff that I can either make into one visually cohesive dress or can use as separates that are mix and match, because that's one of the things that can be done in this time, especially if you're not doing super fancy stuff. So, as I said, I've got my short-term goal, and then I've got my long-term goal, which I'm not setting any dates for any of that for myself yet. Basically all I want to do is I want to make my initial outfit, and then as I feel like it, as I am inspired, as I find fabric I like, I'm going to continue to add pieces to flesh out and just expand this little capsule wardrobe type of thing. So I will be back at some point. My calendar has gotten very busy for the next couple of months, but at some point I'm going to put up a video about the shift, because that's where I'm going to start. And this is going to be a plain shift. Eventually I do want to do a black worked one, but that's going to take a while because embroidery takes a while. So, but I do want to have just, an everyday shift that I can wear with these outfits that I can toss into the washer and not feel like I'm going to damage it. So we'll start with the plain one, then we'll add a black work one. Maybe eventually I'll even add one with lace insertion work, because there are some really pretty Jacobean ones with, like, instead of black work, it's all insertion lace up in the upper part of it and on the sleeves. Oh, so gorgeous. But anyway, I'm going to start with the shift, and then I will do probably the sportive kirtle next, and a petticoat or two, jacket, head coverings, cuffs, collar, maybe a purse, some type of thing to put my things in, and we'll see where we go from there. So thank you for listening to me ramble on about this project for a while, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.